version, God created me this way. If God wanted me to be different, he wouldn't have created me with these desires. My desires are not wrong because they're part of who I am. And so Sibbes talks about this, and it's just fascinating that this is not anything new. And Sibbes spends the first section talking about the doctrine of concupiscence, which is just missing today. But this idea, it comes from the Latin. It's a Latin phrase that means with passions. So people are saying that my passions are not wrong. You can hear people talk about this wrongly today in Christianity. They'll say something like, we'll just use homosexuality because it's an easy example. People will say things like, the desire is not wrong, just don't act on it. Right? That's kind of how people say, like, yeah, you'll have the desires. That's just part of being, you. Just don't act on them. That's where the sin is. It's just in the action. Well, that's just not true, right? The desire itself is sinful. That's what the whole idea of concupiscence means. The passions themselves are sinful. Why do you sin? Because of your evil passions raging within you, right? And so he's dealing with that just because this is part of your nature, and it's you feel like it's who you are, does not mean that it is okay. Does not mean that it's not sinful. You are sinful because your nature is sinful. So of course we should expect to find that our natural inclinations are going to be sinful, because that's who we are by nature, sinners who are drawn to sin. And so he spends this whole chapter talking about that. The true nature of the natural man is sinful. Not only does he sin willingly, but he delights in his sin. We talk about this. Jesus says this, in John 3. Why do men, hate the light? Because they love the darkness. By nature, we not only sin willingly, but we actually take delight in our sin. And then he talks about this, just how sin has made us, so topsy-turvy, how it's so flipped us around. Listen to this statement. He says this, man is in love with his own bane. I just love that phrase. Man is in love with his own bane. He fights for the lusts that rage war against his soul. We actually fight for sin that is trying to destroy us. That's how messed up we are. We love the very poison that's killing us, and we'll fight to keep the poison even though it's killing us. We love our own bane. We fight for the lusts that are trying to destroy our souls. It's just crazy to think about that this is how we all are. And then he talks about the spirituality of the law, which we'll get to a little today. But let's see, there's just so much I had. I mean, look at the pages are like underlined, starred, star, underline. That's my, categorizing. If it's underlined, it's good, star, underline. Oh man, yeah, got to go back to it. It's just, there's so much in here. I better stop before I'm just going to peruse all these. Anyways, it's a great chapter. It is fantastic. We've got a lot to cover. Chapter 12 of Sibbes' book on how to do battle with your own soul. He's saying, if you really want to do battle with your own soul, you first must recognize how sinful your soul truly is. It loves sin. If sin was not taken from you, this is another quote he said, if sin was not taken from you, you would never leave it. You have no power in and of yourself to leave sin because everything in you loves it too much. For sin to depart from you, it must be the work of someone who is more powerful than your love of sin. It's just